Good evening, everyone. My son, as I was walking into the facility today, say, "Dad, I'm 87% sure you're going to cry." The young one said, no, 75%. I'm a little bit more nervous here than I am if I was in Azteca Stadium with 120,000 people yelling and screaming to want to kill me, which has happened more than once. And just to get an idea, Azteca Stadium is probably 3 times the size of Investors Field. So you can imagine. Anyway, Hall of Fame inductees, congratulations. It's really an honor to be part of the 2019 class. To be amongst you is really truly an honor. To the Hall of Fame Selection Committee for considering me when there are so many worthy people in this province that could receive recognition like this. To Rick and the Hall of Fame staff for their guidance in getting me ready for tonight. Gerald Allen for submitting my profile for consideration many years ago, and also for keeping my body together for so many years. I actually missing Gerald tonight. He's in a hospital, actually, so I'm wishing him well. This is truly a humbling experience. It's overwhelming. You never think about being inducted into the Hall of Fame. When you're a kid, you dream about being Pelé, you dream about being Messi. You actually don't dream about refereeing in the World Cup. Maybe playing, yes, but refereeing, who thinks about that when you're playing on the streets of Chile, Argentina, Canada, USA, doesn't matter. When I started, I just wanted to do well and not to make many mistakes. Now I can say that I am only catching up to my Hall of Fame spouse, who has been inducted at least 3 times in her sport. So you can just imagine what the little competition happens in our household. Our kids are wondering what they have to do now. I hope they have the same aspirations as I did, and that was when I started, I just wanted to enjoy sport. I wanted to have fun. I want to try my best, and obviously you never know what can happen. And it is impossible to have success in your career and in your sport without the support and encouragement, guidance, teachings, lessons that you learn from many people that surround you. There are so many people that I want to thank, but obviously Rick told me that I had, 3 minutes or 5 minutes or something like this? If I actually mention everybody by name, I will be here all night, and I don't think that's fair. So I'm going to group you a little bit. First, the players. Even when many blame the guy in the black jersey, I took it as a challenge to become better. Their point of view always made me work harder and try to avoid mistakes, even when they got away with things like losing a tooth because I didn't see the elbow. Sorry. They taught me important components of officiating life, like learning how to run for your life. The coaches who were encouraging of a young referee and willing to tolerate the mistakes at the beginning while I learned the trade. Later on, some were not so forgiving, but I also learned from that. The Manitoba referees and colleagues, instructors, assessors, mentors, coaches, for teaching me about officiating early in my career and for ensuring I didn't give up because of some incident that can happen in a career of a referee when you start out. My fellow Canadian and international colleagues, referees, assessors, and instructors around the world, for showing me the ropes at that level of competition and for the support and contributions to my career at the world stage. To the MSA Board of Directors, the staff, past and present, for their support and understanding, for putting up with emails at crazy hours of the night and weekends simply because that's when I can get to them. To my extended family, my brothers, maybe he was right, sisters-in-law, nieces, nephews, my in-laws, grandparents, may Granddad rest in peace, who in their own way made it easier for me to be away at a competition when there's 40 days you have to spend away from your family. It's nice to know that back home there's a support group that if anything happens to your family, to your immediate family, your close ones, your kids, your wife, they're there to support you. It is a huge peace of mind to be able to be away from your family when every day is demanding physically, emotionally, mentally, psychologically, and socially, to know that you can be at peace. To my parents, for their unwavering support of my involvement in the sport of soccer as a referee, from putting up with their son being called the black sheep of the family simply because he wore a referee uniform, for their guidance to always be impartial, honest, and have integrity in the decisions I made, and for understanding that I would be away from family events because of being involved in such competitions at that level of competition in the world and in this career. And if you give me just a second, in Spanish, un agradecimiento a mi papá, a la familia Vergara Garrido, que sé que no todos están acá, pero de todo corazón les quiero agradecer mucho. To the kids, for putting up with Dad being away from home so many summers. I have two of them whose have birthdays in June, and I probably missed about 10 of them because of the trips, obviously football, soccer being played in the summer. For their unwavering love and support, even when they probably did not quite understand why Dad had to go, they should know that one of the most difficult things I had to do was to be away from the little ones. And finally, I want to thank Joanne, the Hall of Fame wife, the one that always gets first, but the cornerstone of the family. As they say, there's always someone behind the scenes that makes everything possible. Without her support, it would not have happened. Understanding the need to train, whether it was early morning runs in minus 20-degree weather in Winnipeg, or missing a reschedule of activities so I could get my training in, making meals that would satisfy the needs of the picky husband because he's in training, sometimes having to make 3 different types of meals at home, taking care of the busy schedule that prevented me from helping at home as much as I should have, for putting up with the stresses of life while I'm away at the long tournaments, for being forgiven when I had to go to one tournament and then jump to another one. And I clearly remember that when the birth of our child was going to happen, and I told her, you can't have the child that time. You have to have it between this day and this date. That's the only break I have. And yes, I did ask the doctor. And yeah, we got lucky. It happened. 2 days in Winnipeg, child born, on the way to the next tournament. I can tell you there are so many other examples. Quarterfinal, this was a tough one. Quarterfinal of the 2002 World Cup. We were expecting our first child, and Joanne has a miscarriage as I'm walking into the field. And Granddad, may he rest in peace. May I say that again? It's okay. He's probably listening. He couldn't tell me on the phone that what was going on, and couldn't tell me that Joanne was in the hospital. And I had to walk into the field knowing that something wrong was going to happen. And this was a quarterfinal of the World Cup, England versus Brazil. There are so many situations like that she stood by me. Without her love and support, this would not have happened. I am forever thankful that you are so understanding of the demands of the sport, the activities that to this day I still participate in, whether it's locally, with the referees in Winnipeg, nationally, or internationally, and things that now I do off the pitch. I am extremely blessed that you are the rock of this family. Once again, congratulations to the entire class of 2019. Thank you so much.